Hi everyone, welcome. Today I just wanted to cover a quick topic and it's transcending. Um, yeah, I talk about descending and then ascending and transcending a lot. And I had to explain it a few times this week and I thought, oh, why don't I record this and then share it with friends? Yeah, so I stayed up late last night to talk to one of my daughters, and we talked about transcending, and it was really awesome. And I thought, oh, yeah, this is a cool topic to share with people. Okay, so I'd say uh, everybody, we all strive and we strive to be better, strive to do well, strive to be successful in our lives, right? So we try to climb up there and ascend and be better. And sometimes when we initially do it, we do it on our own. We do it with our own efforts. We rely on our own understanding, um, and it can take us so far, but then the Lord will see fit to allow us to be tried, and then when we're tried suddenly all of our efforts is not sufficient anymore. And then we start to descend, right? We fall, and sometimes we fall so hard that we feel like we've fallen and reached rock bottom, and we just can't fall anymore. Um, at our lowest, when we've descended, we become our most humble. Yeah. We discover how to be super humble and we recognize our nothingness, right? And we realize how much we need the Lord. So we start to connect when we're compelled to connect to the Lord. Um, and this is a blessing. We start to connect to Him and finally um, rely on Him deeply, right? So as we reach out to Him, we're filled with the Spirit and inspiration. And then um, we start to ascend. And now this time we ascend with Him. We, pray and we ask for guidance, and then we try to act on inspirations, and it's going well. Um, then we get tried again, that same trial, and then we kind of slip a little bit, but then we remember how to ascend with God, and then we keep going up. And then we get to this roller coaster where it just up and down, up and down, up and down. And then we kind of get tired of that, and we think that that's how life is, right? There's a there is this opportunity at this point to transcend. And yeah, how we do this is to finally close that file, right? Um, and I'll explain what that looks like soon. Okay, and once you've decided that um, that's no longer an issue for you, you've worked it out, um, that Satan can't get to you anymore, you transcend. Yeah. And it's just in that area, and we can, descend and ascend and transcend in other areas of life as well. But yeah, we seek to transcend because that trial no longer bothers us anymore. Okay, so here's an example. Um, I'll give a simple example of, one of my daughters then, because, other adult examples, you can apply for later. An example is like you go through school and you work hard, you study hard, you do well in school, you're fantastic. And then you reach a point where you're burnt out and you want to do well, but somehow um, things are not working out for you. You're not getting the grades and the achievement that you used to get. Um, and, suddenly it becomes really difficult. Satan tempts you and he says, oh, you're not that smart. You, um, not what you think you are. Um, you're no good, things like that. And we allow that to fester and then we entertain that to the point where we feel discouraged. And then, because of our discouragement, we take action, right? Or inaction, we don't do as well, and we end up getting a bad score or failing something. Okay, and then at that point, you're like, I've tried, and I haven't been able to get out of this. Um, and then you start to seek the Lord, okay? And the Lord tells you when to study, how to study. Um, and He inspires your mind, and then you suddenly pick up again. But this time you're picking up with Him. He's helping you do it right this time. Um, and then when you get back to the top, the kind of the same struggle happens again. And then you start to slip and you go up and down, up and down, up and down. So we were talking about this, and I asked my daughter what she's feeling, discouragement and worry and doubt and all that. And then we recognize, hey, that's Satan talking to us, right? And she says, yes. Um, and I said, look, what is the argument? And this is how you transcend, guys. Um, you remember your arguments, okay? If you're a lawyer in a court and you're arguing for yourself, you remember the argument, right? And then once you remember that argument, um, and you know that you've won, you make sure you close that case. So when Satan tempts you again, you don't entertain it. You say, no, that's not, um, this is not something that we argue. You can't play that card again. Once you've made that decision, right, um, you've transcended. And suddenly you've got your blinders on and you keep moving forward with the Lord. And then that card can't be played again. Okay. So example of like, I told my daughter just, be prayerful, get a witness, and then remember your 5 or 6 reasons for to win this argument. So one is something like the Lord never tries me beyond my ability. Okay. Two is, I don't need to be the smartest person in the world, right? I just need to do my very best. The Lord will make up for it. And, I've got God on my side. The Lord has already given me a witness that I can do this. Like, then, just cast your mind back to when you receive that witness, right? Um, if it was right then, it's going to be right now. The other argument could be, if other humans can do it, I can do it, right? And just, more arguments like that. And you think, okay, you know what? I know this is the path I need to go on and it's right. Okay, so once you make the decision, you close that file. You say, done. I don't need to keep listing it out, keep arguing and fighting this fight. That fight has been fought and I've won that fight. So you don't need to let Satan, make you waste time, right? Distract you from honing your powers, uh, to consecrate that effort for the work that you need to do. Okay. So, what if I fail? Well, if I fail, then I will get up and try again. And no matter how long it takes, I will succeed. Just stuff like that. And once you've made all that argument, you've won that file, that case, I mean, you close that file and be done. All right. And from that point onwards, when you make a choice, then it no longer becomes a struggle. And I told my daughter that, that's me at the beginning of when my membership of the church, when I thought tithing, I will pay tithing as a principal before, as soon as I get paid, before I do anything else, and then it might be a little struggle because there was an adjustment, but once I know why I do that, it's not a struggle for me, right? Or I won't drink alcohol or whatever. We've already made that and we've already closed those files. And so those things we've transcended. So we don't get tempted that way. Okay. Another example is this insecurity. Does my spouse love me or whatever it is? Am I beautiful enough or whatever it is? It's common for women to feel this way. So, we address that, we ascend with the Lord, right? Then we close that file, right? And then, so from here on out, when Satan starts to throw in that card to play with you, you're like, no, I can't entertain that. It doesn't matter. I already know I won. Yeah. So, anyways, that's about transcending. Any questions or comments? No. That's all right, guys. If that's okay with you, I'll stop the recording and then we can have a chat about it afterwards, okay? All right. So thank you so much for watching.